Okay, loves, let's discuss painless periods because they do, in fact, exist. Okay, so the first thing that I had to do is I had to believe it. I realized that in order for me to experience periods differently, I needed to rework my thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and thus language. And I did this by using mantras to attract and affirm what it is that I desired. Another thing that I needed to do was I needed to modify my interpretation or my perspective of pain. Pain was no longer the problem. Pain was an ally, a messenger, an invitation to have a conversation with my body, learning what it was attempting to communicate and giving myself the space to honor its responses. Now, this next thing may seem a little extreme, but I chose to discontinue the use of all forms of birth control and really educated myself around my cycle and got to know my cycle, not what doctors say that my cycle should be. And then I just simply started to behave accordingly. And then I started free bleeding. Yep, you heard me. I ditched all the feminine products as much as possible, and I strongly recommend that you play with the same. If you do have to use anything, I would strongly suggest using either reusable cloth pads or organic cotton pads or organic cotton tampons. And no, I don't bleed everywhere. Another thing that I started doing is I really started honoring my yin time. I listened to my body's cues, eating and resting more, and released the need to be productive. Okay, this next one is a real banger. Orgasms, lots of fucking orgasms. Any kind that you prefer, but obviously vaginal and cervical can be great at opening your entire being to God and receiving all those juicy downloads that are available during our yin time. Plus, orgasms act as a serious mood enhancer and natural pain reliever. Okay, this next one, we as women overlook, and it needs to stop. We need to start prioritizing our nourishment and hydration. This I did not anchor in until about February of last year, and it has made a huge difference. Changing my pelvic posture has been a game changer. Unfortunately, our modern day living has left many of us with a tilted or retroverted uterus. If you notice that you only experience pain when laying or sitting a certain way, adjust your pelvis to the opposite and see if it makes a difference. Moving your body. Again, so simple but massively underrated. I know many of us struggle to move during our periods, but when I began to slow down at the onset of my third week, I actually found myself energized on the first day of my period. And now going for a walk has now just become a first day ritual. I actually love moving during my period. And last but certainly not least, if anything, I would argue that this is la creme de la creme, womb work, aka external and internal fascia release of your vulva and vagina. That's right, a total game changer, not only when it comes to painless periods, but so much more. Now, to conclude, of course, I understand that these may not work for you. These are my tried and truths that I have gathered over the past 15 years. But painful periods don't have to be our normal. But we do have to be willing to take responsibility, educate ourselves, and play, experiment with what works and what doesn't. If you would like more support in this, I encourage you to visit my website, KimberlyDam.com, where I offer other programs as well as containers where we go into this and a lot more.